Hi, this is Tom Kane, the voice of Jedi Master Yoda. And this is Inside the Force. Listen, you will. Foreseen it I have, yes.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
Welcome, everybody, to Inside the Force, a very, very special edition episode. I'm David Cottingham here with Casey Cooley, of course.
Hello, everybody.
And this, by far, will be a day long remembered.
Yeah.
We have gotten the first teaser images trailer from Episode 7. I mean, the first official shots from the film.
Right.
In this 88, what Abrams said when we talked about it last week, an 88-second trailer.
Right.
From The Force Awakens, and we were up all night last night thinking it was going to break. It didn't hit till this morning.
Right.
So, if you're like us, you've seen it a million times. But Casey, first reaction to seeing it
is just pretty incredible. It was not. I didn't expect it at all. What I saw, because we always heard. I heard that we would get, a bunch of quick shots of all the characters, and Daisy Ridley saying one line from the film, but we got shots of basically the four main characters. But
right.
I feel like we had more. Not really story, but just longer shots. Like there were about like 4 or 5 shots throughout the whole thing, and you got a lot there. I think you just had I feel like we got a lot of context. We got a lot of environment. We got a lot of meat to kind of play with this teaser. I feel like it was a pretty packed teaser trailer.
Yeah,
there's a lot to it.
Right, for 88 seconds, it did feel like a lot, because with that you can easily do like one scene. And now, and I was always questioning my first. Well, I'll just go back. My first initial reaction to it was, I was like you. We've been talking about it on the show how it's been rumored that we're going to see this, we're going to see this, we're going to see some original cast, we're going to see this.
All right.
I had again, like you, I didn't expect to see what we saw, but of what we did see, I think, even though it doesn't tell the story, I think it does hint at what direction that the story is going to go in. But I'd also feel like it did create a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into, because what we're going to do on this show is we're going to take it scene by scene, frame by frame. We want to kind of just start the back. Let's just dive right in and kind of just talk about the possible questions and our opinions on what we're seeing. So,
right.
Obviously, the biggest question right away is when you're playing it and you're watching it, is the voiceover.
Right.
So the voiceover clearly illustrates and attributes to the title, The Force Awakens.
Right.
And we see a shot of a desert landscape. Now, so here's the thing. Is that Tatooine?
Yeah. It's reports have consistently said that it is not Tatooine.
Right.
This is some junk planet of sorts. Some where it's just a desolate junkyard kind of like type planet.
Which makes sense with a lot of the concept art that we've seen.
Right. Which, I mean, there's actually, I was looking through it again. I was looking back at the concept art. It goes a lot with the rumor that, or that Easter egg that we kind of, or that kind of thing that we were talking about last week, where how this coincides with a comic book, a legacy comic book.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
About the main character is a solo descendant in a junkyard, befriends a little droid, and finds a lightsaber. So far, it's been almost exactly like that in this trailer.
Yes.
So I don't know, it's crazy.
So, and I think in our opinions, I think we're gonna stick with that. I think this is not Tatooine,
Right. Yeah.
And you hear that with and you'll hear at the end of this episode. I kind of talked to some other guys on our network, Russell, Chad, and Corey, got their opinions on the show, and Russell was pointing out, he kept saying Tatooine, and I told him, I didn't tell him on the show, I told him off camera. I was like, I don't think that's Tatooine, but anyway.
Yeah.
But it's a familiar looking location.
Right.
So I think that's good in a sense where, your original trilogy people, if they were kind of put off by the prequels, like a lot of them were, this is familiar as far as still as part of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
So after we hear the voiceover, which is, what was the first line? It was,
there's been an awakening.
The Force has awakened. Can you feel
There's
it?
been an awakening. Yeah. Yeah.
What is it?
There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
Oh, there's been an awakening. Okay. There's been an awakening. You're right. I got it muted right now. That's why I can't hear it. There's been an awakening. Can you feel it? And then all of a sudden, John Boyega, if you don't know who this actor is, that's him. John Boyega pops up out of the screen in a stormtrooper outfit.
Right.
So the rumor of that has been obviously confirmed now, that he is playing or has been either, I guess he's a current, I guess the rumor was always, is he an older stormtrooper or is he a current stormtrooper?
Right.
Because that is by far, I think, the biggest first question that arises is, why are there stormtroopers around still?
Right.
30 years later, what do you think? Why are there stormtroopers around?
I've been trying to think about that. It seems like, we'll get a lot of exposition, a lot of backstory, I'm sure, but it seems like maybe after the Civil War, the Galactic Civil War, at the end of Episode 6, perhaps the Empire wasn't destroyed. Maybe they had a peace, treaty kind of settlement. Maybe the Empire, kind of like how there was the Separatists. The Empire kind of became their own entity, but they ceded their reign over the galaxy. So we have this new republic, but you still have the Empire kind of living in their own way as part of the galaxy, which is kind of like how the EU is. The Empire is always around. They're just they're not the evil baddies that they used to be. So maybe this is the case, but maybe the Empire is trying to come back. I don't know. It's really, or it could be something totally crazy cool that we don't know about.
Well, that's the thing. Is it possible that the Republic is now just using stormtroopers as kind of police?
Yeah, it's possible. Absolutely.
That's kind of what I was thinking, was maybe they just adopted the stormtroopers, kept it part of a policing corps, versus an army.
Right.
But that kind of rumor does get shot down later, because why would a TIE fighter still be attacking the Millennium Falcon? But we'll get to that.
Well, yeah.
So Boyega jumps up here. So it seems as if he's very, disoriented.
Yeah.
He's been sweating, so he's been passed out in a sense, confused on where he is. But then we cut to the next shot, which is this soccer ball looking
droid.
The
soccer droid.
soccer droid, which is pretty cool. Now, this has been rumored also in concept art.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I guess that's been confirmed. Now it looks really small. I don't know if that's if that is the size of like a soccer ball just rolling around.
That's basketball size to me in a way.
Right. Now in the background though, have you noticed in the background what looks like looks like pod racers?
Yeah, just spare parts, just some junk, scattered around.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, very interesting shot. Very, but here's the thing too is one of the first things I thought of when I saw this shot was the whole thing about Abrams saying he wanted to make things more practical.
Right.
I mean, what do you think? Do you think that's a digital droid? Or is that a practical droid?
I think it's a... I don't know. I mean, that part might be... I mean, that specific shot might be digital. I don't know, it just seems like a hard thing to make.
Yeah, I would think so, too.
But I'm sure there'll be parts where there are practical shots of that droid. I'm sure that's where...
I think the background's practical.
Yeah. And I think that's where he's so great at it, where he can mix practical with CG well. But I think that shot was probably CG, but I'm sure we'll get some practical stuff just like R2.
And the rumor of this is Daisy Ridley's droid, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're replacing everybody. They're replacing the main characters and they're replacing the droids.
Yeah, getting
a whole new cast of people.
And this and Daisy Ridley is obviously the female lady that we will talk about, but
right.
But as you go on into the trailer, around the 32 second mark, you actually get a shot of these stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Modified helmets, obviously, those have been rumored. Those have been released. You can see they are obviously different heights.
Well, I mean, most of them are pretty tall, except for one.
Right.
In the center, which is shorter.
Which is in focus. So obviously that's who you're supposed to be looking at, which I'm assuming is John Boyega.
Yeah. And that's where I've read about where the rumor is, or the speculation is this is the first sequence of the film.
I agree.
Where you have these troopers go into some kind of assault, some little skirmish, whatever. And then the next scene is Boyega waking up in the desert. So we're probably seeing the first few scenes of the film right now with this whole trailer. I don't know.
Yeah, because I think when you can, if you kind of go slow with when the door opens, there's people saying, oh well, that's where you can see kind of the sand that they're getting into. That is kind of sand.
Yeah, I think it's a fair assumption. I mean, it's not. Yeah, I mean that's what I believe. I mean, you just can't know for sure, but that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So something happens on this planet, obviously, and again, I agree with you. I think it's definitely in the beginning of the film. Just so it kicks off, because that's how it's rumored. Obviously, he will meet up with who you see next, who is Daisy Ridley. So she apparently is on this planet. Very cool shot of her just taking off on the speeder.
Yeah.
Back to I guess where the little city is.
Yeah.
But again, we haven't technically, with these shots, we haven't left this planet yet. So this planet is whatever it is, not Tatooine, but a different planet. These first 4 scenes have been really on this planet. I don't know, obviously we don't know how much of the movie takes place on this planet or or if it's just the beginning and then they end up leaving this planet, obviously. So I guess where do you think then does the rumored lightsaber that they find happens to be? Is it just junk on this planet?
Maybe. I mean, it might be. And I think I've read some people saying, that some speculation is that that shot where it's that quick push in on Daisy Ridley as she's powering up her speeder. She has this like little tool attached to the side of her speeder. It's like long metallic staff looking thing. And at the end there's like a hilt, and some people have said that hilt looks a lot like a lightsaber hilt. But it looks like it's securely fastened to whatever that staff is, so I don't think it is a lightsaber. But I don't know. But that staff is not in the shot right after this. So whatever that is.
Oh, it's not.
No. She's like actually driving it, it's not there.
That's right. And I noticed that I did notice that wasn't a continuous shot either, because she has goggles on in the second shot.
Right. Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Yeah, the lightsaber will fall into her lap, I guess, somewhere around here. And again, looking back at the leaked concept art, I mean, that speeder is straight up from the concept art that we saw, and which leads us to believe that Daisy Ridley is probably the one who kind of retrofitted that AT-AT as a home.
Correct. Yeah, that's probably where she lives.
Yeah, so she might be on the run. She might be. I don't know.
So then,
trying to hide from the Empire.
Yeah. So then, has it been said or rumored on which lightsaber that it is? Is it
like what character?
Well, it's Luke's apparently, but is it the Empire or is it the Jedi?
That what?
Which one is found? Is it the blue lightsaber or the green lightsaber?
Oh.
Because it would kind of make sense if it's the blue one. Because, when Vader cuts his hand off, we never see what happens to it. It falls kind of to what we think is the trash.
Yeah.
So,
which would make sense.
It would make sense.
Is a junkyard planet.
Correct. It would make sense that would be taken there somehow.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't just fall out of the sky, which had been rumored. It would be just there, and it would be found.
Yeah.
Like she would have it there, just by that's to me that would make sense.
Yeah. What if this is the same junk planet in Clone Wars where Darth Maul is?
That would be awesome.
That would be so cool.
That would be cool.
Just thinking,
just thinking out loud. But that is absolutely true. And we can probably look up what that planet is called.
Yeah.
But anyway, so moving on. So that's Daisy. Really, actually. So the other question is, I wanted to bring up with her, if she's on her own out here, is she Han and Leia's daughter?
Yeah. Yep, that's a very good question.
Because I think it was almost like, I think people could have said with 99% certainty she was.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that now.
It's less certain. I mean, I still think she very well could be, but maybe she has to go into exile for a little bit, or maybe she's on the run or something. I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot. Just like all Star Wars movies, I feel like we are literally, I think, going to be thrown into a mess like right from the start.
Right.
And they're going to have to explain a lot what's going on. Like these characters, I feel like are already going to be in a mess of trouble. Like it looks like Daisy Ridley's already kind of living on her own for some reason, living in an AT-AT. And, Boyega's either exiled stormtrooper or something. I don't know.
It looks like they got ambushed or something, and maybe they got wiped out, and he was the only one that lived.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's and this is pure J.J. Abrams, obviously.
Right.
What's the driving force? What's the secret behind all this? Because think about it, you get the stormtrooper that apparently stumbles upon and meets Daisy Ridley. I mean, what sparks them to go?
Yeah.
What is it that makes them say, we need to go either find Luke or find help, get off planet?
Yeah.
And, what is that event, or what's the story that's going on, and why did it take 30 years? Why is this now just happening? You know what I mean? So there's so many questions. I mean, many questions. Even more so now, I think. I mean, these were questions we were kind of asking in the first place.
Right.
But now that we've seen some things, it's like, wow. Especially a teaser, it doesn't really explain plot or anything. But
Yeah.
but yeah, very cool. So anyway, so she scours on, and then all of a sudden, we get the famous shot of in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Of a nice one. Now,
I love it.
I texted you. I said, I'm pretty sure this is Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing that needs to be pointed out is that he still has the Republic symbol, the rebellion symbol.
Yeah.
Not Republic, rebellion symbol that the rebellion was using on the on his helmet and his vest.
Yeah.
Now, this is obviously a modified version of what we see in the Rebels now, because if everybody's watching Star Wars Rebels, Sabine is kind of painting what looks to be kind of a bird-shaped emblem, right?
Right.
That obviously becomes that emblem. I say obviously. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it kind of looks like it. So again, it brings up the question: is that the new logo for the Republic? Now, I think they've said that there's not going to be a new Republic,
Yeah.
but the Republic has been reestablished. Is that the logo of the Republic now?
Yeah. Or the Republic, or what? Just Rogue Squadron's still around, or
That's
something
true.
like that. But and I was looking at some people on forums talking about this shot, like also on Isaac's helmet, and it's pretty much confirmed. I mean, not confirmed, but it's pretty much for sure that it is Oscar Isaacs.
Yeah.
But on his helmet, like on his right side of his helmet, there he has like a little white kind of marking. It's really hard to tell what it is. It's like by kind of like on his right cheek there on the helmet part.
Yeah.
It's that somebody has figured out that this could be marking that we've seen in A New Hope, where Biggs Darklighter on the trench run, like on the center kind of top part of his helmet, he has this marking kind of on top of part of his helmet there that is very similar to what Oscar Isaacs has. Now I'll try to send this image to you if I can find it, but there's just it's just some marking that's similar for both that people were saying maybe it's the part of the same squadron or something like that. I don't know, but it's just interesting. And I'm like trying to nitpick this to death, and I saw he has some Aurebesh writing on his vest.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, what could that be? I don't know, but I mean, it just says it's like all it says is pull to inflate. So it's because it's a vest and they're flying over water.
Oh,
but
right.
I don't know. I just thought like any little thing that could give me information would be awesome. But yeah, I think it could. The Republic, yeah, I think that's either Republic or just Rogue Squadron. I think.
Yeah, and then the next rumor that I've been hearing that I read online is where is this? Where are they flying?
Yeah.
The leading speculation right now is what I'm reading. I don't know what you're reading. Is Yavin 4?
Yeah, I read that. Yavin or Endor.
That or Endor, correct?
I mean, honestly, I think it could be. It could be any planet. I don't know. It could be whatever planet they want it to be. I don't think it's obviously this or it's obviously that. Like,
yeah,
this could be Corellia. I don't know.
it could be. Yavin 4 does make sense that they would turn that into a hangar, and they're just taking off now. Because you got to remember, though, that the S foils
Right.
are open.
Yeah.
So
Attack formation.
they're in attack formation. It's not like they're just flying, getting ready to take off.
Yeah, I mean, he's got some bruises on his face.
Yeah.
If you look closely, and it looks like, I mean, I could be just saying things, but there looks like there's a little bit of smoke coming from the back of his X-wing kind of towards the camera.
Let me see. Oh yeah, that's very true.
So it looks like he's. I mean,
Well,
either he's
although
been-
it could be the water that you see in the
yeah,
next-
that's what. Either it could very well be that. So either he's been seeing those bruises, or from that fight, or like a day before, or he's about to be shot down,
Right.
And he's getting hit, or I don't know. It's
yeah,
crazy. I mean,
it's very crazy.
I'm excited because the rumor was for him, that he was going to be this kind of smuggler Han Solo type.
Doesn't look
kinda
like that's true.
No, he looks like he's a soldier.
Yeah,
so,
like he's a rebel shoulder. Now, but again, we keep saying rebel, but
yeah,
the
true.
rebels shouldn't be around anymore.
True, they're not called rebels at
Right.
least.
So he
anyway.
should be
They're-
just part of Rogue Squadron, or he should be
yeah.
some kind of squadron. He's just a
Yeah.
fighter for the Republic now.
Maybe he's taking over.
Fighter pilot.
He's what Wedge Antilles would be, or something like that.
Right. Right. Which unfortunately, Wedge is not going to be in this. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's not.
Yeah. Did he? Yeah. He turned it down, didn't he? I think he got
He did.
Yeah.
He turned it down.
weird. Why would you do that? Anyway. No, I thought that was I thought that was a great addition to all this all these shots. So again, you got John Boyega, you got Daisy Ridley, and you got apparently the next lead, which is Oscar Isaacs. And as you go forward, we get the continuation of the voiceover,
Yep.
which is basically just simply says in the dark side and the light.
Yeah.
And this shot, snow-covered forest. To be honest, like one of the first things I thought of, anybody out there that watches Game of Thrones, this
Yeah.
looks like Game of Thrones. This looks like
Right.
the white guy. What do you call it? The wildlings, where
Giants.
the wildlings live, and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
the White Walkers and stuff like that. Anyway, but it's not. It's Star Wars. So so we get this black hooded figure walking in the snow, and then suddenly stopping and igniting a lightsaber with what do you call those things? The kind of guards,
Cross guard.
cross guard with the cross guard.
Yeah,
So
on
it
the
looks-
guard part. Yeah.
So it
Little
looks
cross
like
guard.
an old school medieval sword.
Yeah.
Now, so initial thoughts right away are, who is the hooded character?
Right.
And I believe it's Adam Driver.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like that's the man. Everybody's kind of thinking about. Yeah, I agree. Could very well be Adam Driver. Yeah.
And what he's, I'm trying to look into the woods. Like, is there anybody in there? Is he seeing somebody? Why is he all of a sudden igniting?
There's nothing.
There's nothing. So I don't know if there's something behind him now. But
The way he's walking too, he's very like determined. It seems like he's just
Right.
like taking such huge steps and gets into a crazy action pose.
now, what is your feeling of the look of the lightsaber?
I mean,
Because it's different.
very different. I mean, some people are honestly saying like how bad it is. Like it's not very practical.
Right.
They're saying, I'm gonna try and pause it here, right? The good part. So, I mean, I like it. It looks cool, looks eerie, and I don't think it's like a very threatening weapon. Not like the double-sided lightsaber was for Darth Maul. I mean, it just has like a protective kind of crossguard there in case someone wants to, I guess, slice your fingers off or something. But I feel like that, even that, it's still not that great of a defense. But it looks like it's a poorly made lightsaber. Looks like somebody tried to just construct it, try to kind of wing it and build a lightsaber out of like spare parts or something like that, and then got this shoddy kind of sparking flame looking like lightsaber. It looks, you get like these it's like imperfect looking, where
you have the flames are sputtering, or the lightsaber is sputtering, and you have this like stream that kind of flickers off of it, flickers around it a little bit.
Right.
So it's cool. I mean, visually it's amazing. But yeah, I mean it's cool. I mean, it's just cool. It's a nice identifying thing, and it's something that we've actually seen. I mean, I'm not familiar with it totally, but I found that it's actually in a EU Legends comic book based from the Clone Wars. I thought that was like the signature weapon of this one Jedi from the Clone Wars.
Right.
But no, it's still cool. I mean, it's exactly like what we saw in the some concept art. We saw a Sith, like Darth Revan looking type Sith that has a cross guard lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
And this is that guy.
Yeah. And what you think is Adam Driver or no?
I'll go ahead and say yeah. I guess I think it's Adam Driver. I mean, we could be surprised, but it seems like that it could. It seems like a tall, kind of lanky type guy like Adam Driver. So, but who knows? It could be anybody.
I do think that his movement is pretty methodical. It's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, the way he's moving. Whoever choreographed that or whatever it's great.
Like he throws the lightsaber kind of outwards as he steps. I love that.
And I tell you what,
stomping down.
I'll tell you one thing that you'll hear. I wanted you to know, but you'll hear Chad talk about it when I talk to him about this shot. He thinks it's possible that we're seeing a found lightsaber, like from the Knights of the Old Republic in a sense.
The Old Republic, yeah.
Because
if
you think about it, if there's no Vader around, if there's no Sidious around, there's no Sith, right? So these Inquisitors, who have been rumored to be, these Inquisitors, they have to learn if they want to be more powerful. They've got to learn from something, either a Sith holocron, or, I mean, then it goes back to, is that why we saw the Darth Bane character? Is that why we finally got Darth Bane in canon? Because maybe this is Darth Bane's lightsaber, that he finds. I don't know, you can make all kinds of different connections with that, or it could simply just be, like you said, one that he just built, and that's what it looks like. I don't know, but it is a little different. It's, but again, here's the thing too: is what they is. It could be the sense where they're just showing this now,
right,
to gauge the reaction, because that is something that could easily be changed.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what? They don't like it. Let's just go back to the way it's supposed to look. Just the red, the white blade with the red. Because this is kind of orangish looking. This is not really the red that we're used to.
Right.
So it's like a flame almost. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's again, that could be, well, see, again, it's not canon, but we talked about this in a previous episode where, Jedi obviously got their crystals during their youngling, what was called the Gathering.
Right. Yeah.
But Sith, this is obviously not canon right now, but the Sith used artificial crystals.
Right.
They created a red crystal. That's why they made them red. So I'm assuming it's possible maybe that this guy, him being an Inquisitor, this is not a lightsaber powered by a crystal.
Mm-hmm.
It could simply just be this type of flame, sword.
Right.
So that's why you get what it looks like. Because you remember, even the Mandalorians had like a laser sword, like a light sword. So this could be just kind of a different version of a lightsaber, not necessarily a lightsaber.
Right. Yeah.
Which I would be fine with. I mean, that's what Vader equipped his Inquisitors with, these type of swords. I mean, So anyway, the voice finishes. The biggest question is, we haven't answered yet, but who's the voice?
Right.
My first thought right away was Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yes.
Because it sounds just like him.
Yeah.
Sounds like, Schmog or Khan.
Khan, yeah.
It was funny because me and your cousin, my nephew Graham, was up here yesterday. Last night we were watching Into Darkness, Star Trek.
Yeah.
And Cumberbatch has been rumored to possibly be in it, not confirmed, and it's actually been more confirmed that he's not. So who knows if that's him? And then the other voices, Max von Sydow that you brought up.
Right.
Is it Andy Serkis?
Yeah.
Which is kind of who I'm leaning towards. But then
Yeah.
it's possible, your brother Corey mentioned, it could be Adam Driver.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was... I feel like that was everybody's...
First
if it was not Cumberbatch... If it was not Cumberbatch, it was Adam Driver. I feel like it was everybody. Because, well, that's a villain talking. Obvious. It seems like it's obvious it's a villain talking.
Yeah.
They sound like a villain, so it should be Adam Driver. I just, and of course you can change an actor's voice when it's easy, but listening to the voiceover a bunch. But I was watching some interviews with Andy Serkis talking as Caesar from Planet of the Apes, because I feel like that this voice kind of mimics that in a way. And I am too leaning towards Andy Serkis. So when he says, specifically, I think when he says the dark side part. I think there's a certain inflection that reminds me of Andy Serkis. I'm sure.
Right.
I'm not a voice expert, but I would actually say Andy Serkis, honestly. But again, it could be anybody.
It could be, and Adam Driver. The thing about it is, I've never heard Adam Driver speak, so that's why I never really thought of him right away.
To me, he has kind of a goofy voice. I don't know.
That's what Corey was saying a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, like a tall kind of jock type guy. I don't know,
but
he can change his voice.
Yeah, but after that shot, after it cuts to black,
yeah,
we get a familiar look.
Oh yeah,
the Millennium Falcon flying around, again around a desert planet.
Right.
Probably being the same as from where we saw Ridley.
Yeah.
But it is getting attacked by 2 TIE fighters.
Uh-huh.
So kind of bringing up the question again, well, why are there TIE fighters around still?
Yeah.
So there's obviously some kind of remnants of the Empire, something going on still. But either way, great, pure J.J. Abrams shot of just flying and flipping. I mean, you can't even tell if the Millennium might be flying straight, and this camera is just like going all over the place.
Yeah.
But what'd you think of that? What'd you think of the Falcon?
That was probably my favorite part, just because it was like a roller coaster. Like you're being tossed all over the place. It's such a static and just a action type shot. Like you're engaged the whole way, and then right at the end you see 2 TIE fighters shooting at him, and you hear that sound. It's awesome. Like it was just, it just looks. I mean, it's something we've ever seen the Falcon doing. We actually will finally be able to see Han Solo's great piloting skills.
Yes,
and not just these like little maneuvers going left and right, but like we'll see flips and rolls and dives and all that kind of stuff. It's exciting.
And the first thing you'll notice is the first shot, if you haven't, is the new antenna radar or dish.
Yeah.
The big round one that got knocked off in Return of the Jedi has now been replaced with a kind of a smaller rectangle one.
Yeah.
Which would make sense.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's like, you have changed the look of an iconic figure.
Well, yeah.
Like forever
forever we knew there was a circular radar dish, but now there's a rectangular one.
Yeah, they didn't have that model anymore. You know.
Yeah, updated. There you go.
Updated sensor. Updated. You get 250 channels now instead of just 100
Yeah,
channels.
It's wall to wall pictures.
Wall to wall. So, no, very cool shot. Very good way to end. Of course, right when you see it, it kicks off the actual original.
Oh yes,
John Williams score.
Oh my gosh!
Even though he did score
That was great.
this trailer.
Yeah, we heard the new stuff.
The new stuff.
It's great.
But we got the original song here, leading into the logo, which separates into the Force Awakens.
Right.
So that's all. You know, as far as the shot of the Millennium, there's nothing really there to speculate besides who's flying it. It's probably Han.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping for a shot to the front of the Falcon so I can look in the cockpit.
You know, that could be. This has kind of popped in my head. What if? So what if? So Boyega gets there, meets up with Daisy Ridley, and whatever, like we said, whatever sparks the story happens there. It's possible, right? That what if Daisy Ridley calls Dad to pick her up, and that is why the Falcon comes to this planet?
Yeah. That's gonna be
So maybe she is her daughter.
He's coming back.
So
coming to come pick her up or something.
Yeah, because maybe it's possible. Are they? They're either there. It looks like the troopers are there for somebody or for something. Something goes terribly wrong, and maybe she knows about it, and she's on the run now, and she's got to call Dad. I need you to go pick me up, and that's why the fighters are there. You know, again, I think that's the beginning of the movie. So close to the beginning in a way. So anyway, I kind of like that theory.
That's a good theory.
That's a good theory. Job. It's not bad. Huh? Not bad. Okay, so great teaser. I think we're both kind of flipping out. Watch this thing. I'd say I've at least seen this thing 40 times probably.
Yeah.
So, of course, it ends with December 2015 as the date. December 18th is the exact date, is what we've been told. Now, did you notice there's a little lightsaber igniting?
Yes. Yeah.
Sound at the very end. Yeah.
Well, did you hear too the probe droid sound in the very beginning with Boyega?
Oh no! Yeah, you're right. I did.
Boyega pops up. You hear a little probe droid sound.
Yes, I did hear that,
which is nice.
Yes.
Very good stuff.
Very, very awesome stuff. So that is our breakdown. I'm sure we'll talk more about it in the coming weeks as more details are released. This supposed rumor trailer of a original cast being in it. Don't be surprised if that's another teaser that we're going to get.
Yeah.
Like this is the new cast. What if we get an old cast trailer? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's definitely possible. All right, so next up, real quick, I'm going to break away from us real fast and just drop in and get you guys the perspective and first impressions from some of our other 21 Network hosts, Russell, Corey, and Chad. I'm going to play that back-to-back right now, and then we'll be right with you. Here are those little tidbits from them that I got earlier. So first up, I wanted to get one of my co-hosts on In the Comics, Russell Johnson. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Loved it. Very exciting day today. Let's just put it that way.
Very. So take me back. What were your first feelings after your first thoughts after you saw the trailer?
Honestly, my just kind of gut reaction to it was I mean, I hate to sound kind of fanboyish, but I'm going to because it was awesome. I just thought it was incredible. I loved the pacing of the trailer. I love the kind of surprise of some of the things on there, and it was just all in all, every single. I love the contrast between having the voiceover, the narration going on, and then like the shots between the black frames and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was just I was blown away. I love it seemed very different to me as far as a Star Wars trailer goes, or even a Star Wars movie. It just felt different.
Yeah.
But it was very exciting, and I loved every single frame. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, very much so. So did it to you, because you hit on it a little bit, I mean, did it feel like J.J. Abrams?
Yeah, it did actually. I have to say, I've watched it. I can't even tell you how many times I've watched it. I've got a 2-year-old son who I'm trying to get involved in the Star Wars, and I sat him down and watched the trailer. And as soon as the trailer was done, and this is kind of my reaction to it, was I sat him down after I watched it several times myself. I sat him down, he watched it, and his immediate reaction after it was over, he was like, "More. I want to see it again.
Yeah.
I want to see it again."
Yeah.
So we watched it again and again and again. We watched it on my computer, watched it on my TV, we watched it everywhere, and he was just thrilled by the whole thing. And so I kind of feed off his whole. And it sounds kind of dumb. He's a 2-year-old. He hasn't really watched a whole lot of like action movies, but his reaction to like every single frame was different. It was like when he saw like the opening shot, he was very kind of surprised.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was surprised, and then when we saw the new droid, it was kind of funny, he kind of liked that. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, stormtroopers. He was like, whoa, dark, scary. And then it got to the X-wings. He was like, oh, action. I mean, I really fed off his energy on that. And then we saw the Sith, or what I guess we assume was going to be the Sith, the new lightsaber. That was kind of cool. He was excited about that. And then we got the whole Millennium Falcon. Yeah, it was just I really fed off his energy of that. And it's just, I don't know. It felt different as far as visually. Even the final scene, the final scene is, Millennium Falcon just kind of flying, and then on Tatooine and going after, going straight onto TIE fighters, and it just felt different. I don't know what it is. I don't, because the shots are so short in general, but I felt it felt different. It felt like there was a different director. It felt like it was a different vibe as far as the overall trailer went.
Yes.
And it makes me super excited. I mean, this feels different. It feels new. It feels fresh. It feels, exciting. And I've watched it. I can't tell you how many times I've watched it.
I know.
I've watched it so many times. It's ridiculous. But I the whole hype around it going into the whole thing was, new trailers come in. I'm glad they released it online. And then I was kind of expecting something cool, but it's more than it's not necessarily more than I expected necessarily, but it felt like it just felt it just feels so good. It feels exciting. It feels new. It feels fresh. It feels exciting. And again, I think for me, I'm probably a little bit skewed as far as being a Star Wars fan to begin with, but then again, having young kids and knowing that going into this, that this is going to be their Star Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So I get really excited about it even more. I kind of feed off my energy of my kids. I mean, he's a 2-year-old. He's never even seen Star Wars. He doesn't know anything about it, but his energy seeing these just individual little shots was just so, I don't know. I was just like pumped by it. I was like, oh my God, he gets the whole vibe. He sees the funniness. He sees the darkness. He sees the exciting action sequences. I thought the X-Wings shot was phenomenal.
Yes.
That's the way the X-Wings feel. I don't know. It feels like that's what it is. but it's not something I've ever seen before. And again, this is going back to me being a Star Wars kid who saw it in the theaters from the get-go. This feels just new and exciting and fresh, and I'm just so pumped by it. I'm very excited by the whole thing.
It's amazing, wouldn't you agree, how much 88 seconds can do for a fan?
Oh yeah, no doubt. And when this kind of whole thing came around, we talked about it on all the podcasts about, is episode 7 coming along? Disney's bought it, and we did how many podcasts on breaking down Disney being part of it, and Lucas selling it to somebody else, and that was the whole thing. But this far exceeded my expectations on what. The only thing I could say is that I probably would have liked to have seen the original cast. That was kind of like hinted to going into the whole thing.
Right.
But that said, I wasn't disappointed in the trailer, which is a big thing for me because, again, I'm an original Star Wars kid, and I would love to see all the original cast, but the way it was laid out, it's a teaser. It's it's not, the shots aren't very long,
right?
But all in all, it exceeded my expectations without really having real strong expectations, because I wasn't sure. I didn't read a lot of the. I didn't deal with a whole lot of the rumors that were going on, and we're going to see what was happening, but just what I saw was it just really blew me away.
Yeah.
I felt like a kid again. Again, with my son watching it, not knowing anything about Star Wars and being as involved as he was into it. How excited he was about it. I felt like that kid again. I really did. It was really exciting. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did too. And, me and Casey just got done talking all about it, but yeah, good to hear. Good to get your perspective on it. I'm sure we'll talk more as the next, footage and stuff rolls out very soon. Hopefully, I don't know if we'll get anything. We were talking about it. I don't know if we'll get anything before Celebration, which is in April. It almost feels like that's going to be probably the next big release. Probably a bigger trailer, I would assume, maybe hits then. But yeah, so yeah, if you know Russ, if you hear him on other shows, he's said it numerous times. He's the one guy out of all of us that was there for the original Star Wars movie in '77. So great to get your.
I don't know. It feels like I agree with you. I think that this is a good start. I'd like to see. I love the whole opening sequence when we had the voiceover about there's an awakening.
Yes.
Have you felt it? And all of a sudden we see the stormtrooper, who obviously isn't a clone anymore.
No.
And he seems very disoriented. He's on Tatooine. He's like, what's going on? Maybe he's awakened. He's like the new lead character. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. And all that to play out. And I think it's cool to see that now. And maybe, come Celebration, we see a lot more. We'll finally see the original cast again.
Yeah.
I think we have, now we have a whole year before it actually happens. This was a great start, I thought. It was a great start, and look forward to much, much more coming forward.
Absolutely. All right, Russ. Thanks for jumping in on here. Short notice.
No problem, man. I loved it.
Getting on the so we'll get more. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more on this on In the Comics.
Yes, absolutely.
So check us out there on In the Comics this coming week. So, all right, thanks, Russ.
All right, man. Thanks for it.
Okay, bringing on now this show, my co-host on the other Star Wars podcast, Star Wars TCG, Corey Cooley.
Hey, what's going on?
Getting a couple call-ins from the other network hosts because this is a big day. The episode 7 trailer has been released. Corey, what was your first reaction after seeing it several times?
Yeah, several times, yes. More. I want more. I mean, it's it was a lot easier just to kind of forget about it and be like, yeah, it's coming out. Until now, it's like, oh, I probably watched it about 50 million times, and specifically, I just kept like moving the cursor back. I watched that lightsaber igniting about 50 times.
yeah.
Just on by itself, like it just looks so. I mean, it is awoken a beast within me that has been dormant for quite some time, and that is this just love for Star Wars. I mean, obviously I love Star Wars. I've always loved it, and it's not necessarily something that I've forgotten about in any sense. That's not really what I'm trying to get at. My I guess reason behind the saying, it awoken this monster, this sleeping giant, because the last movie we had, was feels like forever ago, and even so, it's like, it's I don't know, it just wasn't the same. This, for some reason, I don't know if it's J.J. Abrams as well, if there's different stuff about it, but it's now I'm all of a sudden, thinking about Star Wars again, like besides the card game, obviously. I mean, I think about that, but it's just different. It's here. It's finally here in a way. We got a whole nother year, but it's I can reach it. I can see it.
So any questions you have about what you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I called you, right? I tried to call Casey because talk to him about it because I know he texted me. But I mean, so many questions. Because my first thing, I was like, "What the hell are stormtroopers? What are stormtroopers doing around? And who's controlling the Empire? Like the Empire is gone. Why are there TIE fighters? Why are there stormtroopers? It's just it's confusing.
It is a little confusing now. That is a big question because 30 years. Why is there still this battle going on? If apparently they defeated the Empire, then so I don't know.
Exactly.
That is a tough.
Weird, and it's I guess that, and it's just I wanted so bad to see like Luke, like put up a hood or down a hood. Because actually before seeing the real one, I went and saw, I guess there were some fake ones.
Yeah.
But even those fake ones were really good. There was one cammed version, and that's why I thought that one was real. But obviously, this one is just, I mean, it's, I can't stop thinking about that, he's in the snow and he's walking and he just goes, and it just comes out. And then the side exhaust whatever the heck that is. I mean, that lightsaber is really cool, and it just looks different. It just looks meaner. It looks almost like electricity and fire in a way, like it's bellowing out fire from the side. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, it's like I didn't recognize any of the actors or actresses. But now, because I haven't really been following it, because I don't want to sit here every day and think about, and then it's in anticipation. But who? I guess you said, do we have any idea who's playing who exactly?
We don't. All obviously, other than the original characters, it's all new characters now. Daisy Ridley, of course, expected to be the daughter of Han and Leia.
Right.
Not really sure if it's Jaina Solo or if it's just another person, another name. John Boyega's character obviously has never been, in anything else. And then you got Adam Driver, you got Oscar Isaacs, Andy Serkis, Max von Sydow. You got all these new characters. So, are any of them going to be EU characters? That's the big question.
Right. Yeah. Because I texted you because I was trolling around on the internet and found that picture I sent you.
Yeah.
That EU guy, but Adam Driver, man, I watched him because Katie watches Girls, and I just loved. Adam Driver is the only reason I will pop Katie will go, he's on, and I'll come see his part usually, but it's an okay show. But when I first heard that voice, I first thought of Cumberbatch just because that sounds just like him.
Right.
But the way that person was talking, it almost sounded like Adam Driver's voice in a way, I thought, after listening to it. But
so you're going Adam Driver, huh?
Well, yeah, that's also because I'll go back and listen to it with that in mind that we had spoke of, I guess, because you think you think it's either Andy Serkis.
Yeah, well, at first I said it's Cumberbatch.
Yeah, because it sounds just like.
But I'm not sure if he's in the movie, so
right. So he says he's not, but
right, and then then you hear other people talk about that they think it's Andy Serkis, and that makes kind of sense because he's got that ability to do that kind of that voice and stuff. So. But then you brought up Adam Driver, and I didn't really consider that mainly because I've never heard him speak. Yeah. So I don't know.
He's really awkward. He's got an awkward way of talking, and I've never heard him do a voice like that really, but it's just there's an awakening. Just the way.
Yes.
Said it was just I was like, that sounds like but how cool was that? You know what I mean? They did an amazing job timing out what that guy's. The editing just in the teaser alone is awesome.
It is,
and it's just. And then you cut to that end bit with the Millennium Falcon, and you're like Han Solo's got to be in there. You know what I mean? In a way, we did see Han Solo and Chewie. They have to be in there, and right. I think. It's just got J.J. Abrams all over it. That was a straight J.J. Abrams. See, and the one cool thing about, one of the cool things about the end bit was we've seen the Millennium Falcon in numerous battles, right? But just in that one segment alone, fighting those TIE fighters, we just it's almost seeing the Millennium Falcon do old tricks in a new way. I just the things we can do now, obviously, but it just looking back at the older Star Wars, it just feels.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's the camera was everywhere.
Right.
The Falcon could have been flying straight. And then
totally.
I'm seeing underneath the Falcon. I'm seeing everything. So. I think J.J. Abrams is going to do it, and just looking at his other movies, you can definitely tell. Man, this is going to be good. This movie's going to destroy records. It's going to be hard because it's going to have to withstand Batman Superman coming up the following year, but which is equally, I think, going to just. There's going to be nothing to.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother question. Is there more DC comic fans out there or Star Wars fans?
It's hard because you got people going to see these movies for just the epicness alone. People are going just because they're the original people are coming back for Star Wars, and people are like, this is going to be a history. This is history. People are going to go just to go. And just like Batman and Superman, the people are just going to go to just because, hey, Superman and Batman in a movie together. I don't really even watch read comics, watch the movies, but Ben Affleck's in it, and it's so we got to go see, you know what I mean? So it's attracting a lot of different people. It's just this movie. I was telling Katie, my wife, but obviously she just didn't get how awesome.
No kidding.
I was like, watch it. She was like, no, I'm doing something. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand. This is huge. I don't know why. Just see it for me, everybody's going to be talking about it. At least you can say you've seen it.
That's correct. I made my wife. I made Brooke watch it, and after she got done, I said, okay, good. Now you're with the rest of us. Because everybody else in the world is watching this.
Millions of people have seen this.
Yeah.
Just get with. game. Just shut up, get with the ball game, and watch it.
Exactly. She didn't even know what she saw, but I was like, that's fine. Just the fact that you saw it. Now you know what everybody's talking about.
It is just
So
it's just so awesome. I love it. And like I said, it's just awoken this child in me that I'm just thinking like, man,
yeah.
Star Wars is back, and I'm just giddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Sweet. Well, I'm sure we'll have all these guys, especially Corey, back as the months count down. We are basically less than 13 months away from episode 7.
Only 13 months.
Only.
Yeah.
Hey, we waited this long, right?
Hey, at least it's not 14 months.
That's right.
Oh man.
All right, man. So thanks, Corey, for jumping in on here.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure talking about Star Wars.
Be sure to check us out on Star Wars TCG if you're into the card game, and be sure to check out Corey with his wife, Katie, on The Couch Couple. And, of course, me and Corey on the Gotham After Show if you guys are watching the Gotham After Show. All right. So thanks, Corey, man. We'll catch up with you later.
Thanks.
Okay, now I'm bringing in Chad Perkins from the 21 Network. What's up, Chad Perkins?
Hello.
So,
how is everyone?
Everyone's great, man. Everyone is fantastic, especially today, where we got the first teaser from The Force Awakens, Episode 7, and you've seen it. Tell me your first reactions to the teaser.
I was surprised at how much actual footage we saw. It started out. It started out as I was expecting. Darkness, a voiceover, but then there was all this footage.
Yeah.
And there wasn't breaks with text that came up on black in between footage. It was all just footage. It was it was an 88-second trailer, and a lot of that was footage. Well, I guess there were some breaks in there, but I just thought there was a lot more footage, although we didn't see any of the original cast in any of that. But that's obviously something that's going to be kept for later.
Yes.
Because that would be a huge emotional response from fans.
Were you were you disappointed you didn't see the original cast?
No, I wasn't disappointed because I was so excited to see all this new stuff. To actually see things. This was the first, besides pictures, this was the first moving pictures that we'd ever seen.
Yeah, that's right.
Of Episode 7. So no, I wasn't disappointed.
Because I'm very surprised. I haven't seen anything yet on Twitter or Facebook, anything about anybody being disappointed with what they saw or lack of seeing from the original cast, which is pretty surprising.
Yeah, not from that. I think the only potential stink that I've heard is over the lightsaber.
Right. What is your feeling on the lightsaber?
Okay, so my first thought was there's a little bit of, it's not really continuity error, but there's you have 4, 5, and 6. Everyone used just what we know as standard lightsabers, one blade lightsaber. And then you go back to Episode 1, you get this cool double bladed lightsaber, and then now in Star Wars Rebels, there's this looks like something from Tron that he wears on his back that spins, and it's this cool thing. And then you get to 4, 5, and 6, and everyone's just granted it's only 3 people, but it's just your standard lightsaber. Now here's another new one. Now it does, this is Episode 7, so this is after everything. So this could be a progression. But I'm kind of like, I didn't really have a problem with it, except it being like, well, what use are those? It seems like it would just hurt the person who's using it accidentally. But it's kind of like, I don't need those surprises anymore. It's a Star Wars movie. I'm fine. I don't need even more innovations in lightsabers.
Yeah.
The next thing I noticed was it didn't sound like your typical lightsaber when it ignited. It also doesn't look the same. It's more almost kind of pulsating and jagged looking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if maybe this is actually old technology instead of new.
That's very good. Very good observation, because I think you're right. I think it's a gesture to trying to make something fresh. You know, like Episode 1. I mean, everybody freaked out when they saw Darth Maul ignite a double-bladed lightsaber. I mean, everybody was like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with the way it looked with the handle, but I could, like you said, I could have potentially have a problem with the continuity of the way, if it's a true lightsaber, the way the lightsaber looks, because you're right, because it has this kind of almost like an electrical current kind of going around it, and so if it's truly supposed to be just a lightsaber, I don't know why you change that. But then again, I gotta feel like, we put this trust in the in this newly formed story group. They're overseeing everything, including the movies. So the continuity has got to be there somewhere. Like, there's got to be an explanation on why this looks like it does. So,
and I'm sure there will be.
I hope there will be. 30 years, apparently if Luke's away, then there hasn't been any Jedi or, Sith around. So it's possible. And I like that theory. I like the theory that maybe, if this is Adam Driver, which it's speculated to be, maybe he, found this old Sith lightsaber from the Knights of the Old Republic age, because that's where it kind of falls. Because there's been rumored pictures out there of some EU characters that had that, and there's descriptions of that type of lightsaber in the books. So it's not old. It's not. I'm sorry, it's not brand new.
It's not unprecedented.
Not unprecedented, correct.
Okay.
So. But it is obviously to see it in a movie the first time. So, and again, I think it's from the old Knights of the Old Republic stuff, so thousands of years ago. So, to see it now, that's why I guess you didn't know that, because I thought that's where you were pulling it from. That this was an old saber.
No, I'm just very smart.
Correct. Yeah. No, but that's very true, because that whole thing with. Well, I mean, how cool it would be, that whole thing at the end of Clone Wars where we see Darth Bane. What if it's Darth Bane's saber?
Right.
That he finds. Because that's the thing, is that if these are Inquisitors, they're not Sith. These Inquisitors, the next step is to try to become a Sith. So they have to try to, either with Vader gone and Sidious gone, so there's no Sith around apparently. The only way they can become Sith is actually go to what is now Moraban, and find a Sith holocron, or somehow tap into the dark side and learn from a deceased Sith like a Bane. So who knows? Yeah, they could have went there and found these old lightsabers. Yeah, I kind of like that idea, actually. Yeah, pretty good. Yeah. Okay, so anything else strike you out?
Well, I love the look of the X-Wings being in the cockpit again. It just looks so much like the original trilogy in those respects. Very excited to see that.
Right.
You can instantly tell it's J.J. Abrams because of the we're going to turn the camera completely, on its side or upside down like he likes to do. And I'm sure I'm not the first to point this out, but the new satellite dish on the Millennium Falcon, is cool. It's cool to see that replaced.
And apparently, as far as I can see, that people have found there's only one lens flare in the entire thing.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
See?
Yeah.
There wasn't any lens flares in that whole Stormtrooper thing.
That's right.
Apparently, the only one you see is when the Falcon's flying around, you see a lens flare from the sun.
And that makes sense.
And it would make sense. Yeah. So, So there's some people who pointed that out right away.
Wow.
So maybe we got a different JJ. I doubt it, but it's got to be lens flares.
I think JJ is thankfully so respectful of the material that, especially since he had done Star Trek with a million lens flares.
True.
Yeah, it's just kind of obvious that he would really, really tone it down for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
now, one thing I brought up kind of with Russ and Corey was the fact that, it does feel like a different Star Wars experience. And I think that has to do with Abrams.
Oh, it does. Yeah, totally.
And it does start to make you wonder. And I think this will be more prevalent when the movie comes out. And I know you already have these thoughts, but how much different of a feel would the prequels have had with a different director?
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what if Abrams did the prequels?
Yeah.
I mean, Lucas could have wrote it. No problem. Still the same story, but just the feel of the movie with a different director.
Yeah, definitely. That would have been cool.
It would have been cool. Hard to think about it now, though.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks, Chadwick, for throwing your opinion in on the mix.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
We will definitely get back with you more, and we're going to probably talk about this more in depth also on our other podcasts, especially the 21 podcast here very shortly. But right now, check us out on all the networks. And he is Chad Perkins. Thanks for hanging out with me on this real quick. Take care, buddy.
No problem. All righty. See you later.
Okay, so those were the three different perspectives from the other guys on the networks, Russell Johnson, Corey Cooley, and Chad Perkins. So kind of similar discussions that we had, but they had a lot more questions as far as what we were seeing. And, of course, I was there to answer them, being the Star Wars expert that I am. No. All right, so we'll wrap up this special edition episode here with, of course, some trivia. Trivia question is coming from, of course, the book that we've been using, Obsessed with Star Wars, 2,500 questions. You can get this at any bookstore. $22.75. You said you don't have it in front of you?
Nope.
Case? Okay.
I do not have it in front of me.
So let me get to $22.75, which is going to be pretty cool. Return of the Jedi era, obviously, because we've been talking about something after that. $22.75. Which creature buries most of itself underground, spreading out to 100 meters or more?
Well, there you go.
Do I even have to?
No. Sarlacc pit.
I agree. It's B, Sarlacc. Just in case, just the other options were A, a wart, B, a Sarlacc, C, a Rancor, or D, a Gorax. And we both say B. Ding, 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 a Sarlacc.
Awesome.
Because we highlighted a Sarlacc.
We did it. Yeah.
Talked about that whole thing. So, awesome. All right, Case. Big day for Star Wars fans.
Yep.
Big day for Star Wars. We are 13 months away from episode 7. And this was our first glimpse of what that movie's going to look like. So, just overall, though, Case, before we break away, did it feel to you like a J.J. Abrams film?
Yeah, it did. And one of the reasons why is just because Abrams feels like Star Wars, honestly.
Yeah.
His style. Like Super 8, even his Star Trek movies, it has that adventure, kind of whimsical, yet, feel to it. But yet he has his own layered, kind of detailed seriousness about it. Like, it's hard to... I haven't quite been able to put an articulate answer behind it. But yes, it does. It feels like an Abrams film. It feels like a Star Wars film. I think it'll feel even more like an Abrams film when we see the film, the whole thing. But like you said, with the Falcon shot, he's great with camera movements. He knows how to work the camera. And it's just, he's just a great director. He knows how to move his actors. He knows how to bring out the right emotion from them, I think.
Right.
So it's great. I cannot wait to see the
now,
rest.
I brought this question, this response to the guys, and I don't know if you've thought about this, but this kind of made me think, like, man, could the prequels have been better looking if they had different directors?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. A friend of mine made a comment saying how Abrams put more love into this trailer, or in this movie, than what was put into the entire prequels.
I can see that. I mean, there's no question. Yeah. Well, the problem is you can't question Lucas's passion and love for Star Wars. I mean, he is the creator of Star Wars.
Right. He just might not be the best director. Like, he might be a better producer.
Right.
I think he's
the story. The story. Yeah. Maybe the scripting could have been better, and then definitely the look. Because even though we got a glimpse of that already with the original trilogy, when Irvin Kershner directed Empire, and then Richard Marquand did Jedi. So even though they did still feel the same, they still felt like Star Wars movies. They were different. You could tell they were different directors.
Yeah,
you're going to get that now with this, and of course, Episode 8 being already confirmed, directed by is it Rand Johnson? Is that how you say his name? Rand.
Yeah. Right. I think probably just Ryan or something like that. Yeah. R-I-A-N.
Ryan. Yeah, Ryan probably. Ryan Johnson. So that I think the story is already going to be there, so it's just going to have a different look and a different feel. So, but it does pop in my head now that even though I do love the prequels, and it was simple. It was kind of simple for George because he's more worried about making sure the story lines up and making sure that the actors are just kind of on camera saying what they need to say. He's not really trying to think about creativity and shots and all this stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what I think we didn't get. But anyway, love the trailer, and as I'm sure you have too. So it's we will see more of it, I'm sure, and hear more of it, I'm sure, from us. I hope we get something pretty soon. My feeling is that we're probably not going to get anything until Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Which is in April, so it's only 5 short months away. So we'll see. Anyway, all right, that'll do it for this special edition episode of the trailer for The Force Awakens. You can watch the trailer, obviously, anywhere online. It's there. You can find it on our Twitter feeds. You can find it at the Star Wars YouTube channel. It's getting all kinds of play there. In fact, as of right now, it's got over 6 million views.
Yes, yeah.
So on its own YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm sure that's going to be doubled here in a couple hours. So
yeah. All
right, check us out in the next week where we give you all the latest news and break down what's going on in the Star Wars universe. For Casey Cooley,
there's been an awakening. Have you felt it? The dark side and the light.
Very good.
There you go. That's the whole. I was gonna try to do the voice, but I don't want to embarrass myself.
Okay, so that's the narration
tonight.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that is great. All right, so he's Kryptonian1138 on Twitter. I'm DCottingham21. You can check us out at InsideTheForce.com. All of the episodes are right there. Subscribe to us, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, or TuneIn Radio. He's Casey Cooley.
Goodbye, everybody.
I'm David Cottingham. And especially on this day, may the Force be with you.
This has been a production of the 21 Network. For more great podcasts, visit 21network.com. To view additional content, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/21network. Follow us on Twitter at 21network for the latest news and updates. The 21 Network, for the fan and all of us.